And welcome back. I'm with Tamika Walker, Chief Executive Officer of United Against Human Trafficking, and Ken Henry, the Chief Communications Officer. Let's talk about the many forms that human trafficking takes and the toll it takes on those impacted. You know, we can sometimes see women on the street who may look like they're trolling for business or sex, and as my earlier graphic indicated, so many of them, they actually come from other areas. And not, when you see somebody on the street, you say, well, she's out there, she's a hooker, she's trying. Oftentimes that person is being victimized as much as anything else. Talk about the challenge you have in terms of change the dynamic in the way we perceive these people who are victims as opposed to people who are criminals.
I love that. You want to take that one?
Oh, sure, yeah. So I think we talked about it too a little earlier, is making sure, like a lot of the myths, first of all. Because for a long time here domestically, all we knew was prostitution. Again, we thought this was happening overseas, the actual trafficking. But now that we realize it's here, is our goal is to educate people, to wake them up to understand most of those people that you see that you're thinking have autonomy over their body and where they're going. They're being victimized, they're being coerced, they're being frauded, they're being forced to be out there. So that's the first thing we want to do, is educate people to understand that and wake up. Now, because you got to understand, if someone is thinking that you have choice and don't see you as a victim, right, they're seeing you as a problem. And when you're already being victimized by someone, you know, that is controlling your life. And then the citizens, those folks who could probably help, including even law enforcement, sees you as a problem, there is no help for you. There is no hope for you, right?
Your organization, I know you have case managers and you're a social worker as well. So talk about those people who come to you, who you come in contact with, who have been trafficked and now are trying to get out or are getting out, and what they're going through, the challenges they face just getting back to some level of, quote, normalcy.
I think that the biggest thing I try to communicate anytime I'm in that space is that they're survivors and they are thriving, and that they deserve to be appreciated, loved, and honored in their experience. I think some of the challenges in the community is understanding that we can have family members, as you were saying earlier, Ken, and that it's impacting all of us. And so for me, when I engage with survivors, they are the experts. They understand what's really happening out there on the streets. We think we understand. We think we have a narrative.
See, I didn't think about that, but you can actually learn a tremendous amount from those women who come to you and lets you help better understand how you go about attacking the problem.
Absolutely. We actually have survivor leaders. We think they're amazing. They're on our coalition. They actually really go through a process with us, evaluating our programs, making sure that our messaging is on point, making sure that we are leaders in that effort. And as we talk about within our organization, it's important that we hire survivors, that they actually inform the work, that they're the ones that are working with other survivors, because they know better than we will ever know. And I know that the time that Ken has spent with working with survivors as well, it's important to help sure that they elevate their voice, that you actually give them a platform to communicate and not use them for their story, but actually honor them in their story.
How would you suggest that we, as people who are aware of the problem, want to do something, don't know what we can do? Any suggestions about what we can do to help make a difference in the fight that you're taking on right now?
Absolutely. So like today, we're in 2023, and one of the fortunate things is almost every major city you're in, you're going to have some form of human trafficking task force or coalition. Plug into that. Find out who are your local organizations in your area, and start. It can be volunteering. We're out there constantly teaching the message and educating folks on that. But get involved in your local thing, and there's something. It could be in church. We pull churches in a lot of times that will do certain fundraising things for us. We'll pull churches in that will host things at their church for us to come in and educate. And what we do is, and we're passionate about helping everyone understand everyone has a piece to play in this. So it doesn't matter if you are not a social worker, if you're not law enforcement, you can be a teacher, you can be a retired grandma, but there's something everybody can do, and we need everyone's eyes and ears, because many times it's our average citizens that are doing their day-to-day that's going to see a lot of the things. So if we can teach them red flags and indicators, and now what to do once you see that, who to call, that's what it's all about.
It's a coalition. So talk about the organizations that you work with to help you be basically not just by yourself, but everybody on this task force together. What kind of organizations work with you on this?
Yeah, so we have over 50 organizations. Actually, Ken leads that group, so I definitely want to give an opportunity to speak to that. But we've been doing this work for a very long time. We think it's important to engage all facets of the community, whether it's domestic violence organizations, folks that work directly with folks in the juvenile detention center, law enforcement, other organizations. I think it's critical for all, as Ken was saying, all people to be invested. But I think the biggest thing that I think it's important to emphasize is that we unite folks in the fight. We're not about division. We're not about everybody does it differently. There's no cookie cutter way to do this work, and it's important at the coalition level that we lead from a place of honoring people as they lead in their organizations.
Good point, because nonprofits and things like that, they're very passionate individually, and there can be a lot of this.
Already. We're like, no, none of that. But I want you to, you have anything to add?
Well, I'll say this too, that's great. And it's very organized, is what I want to say. So we're built on 4 pillars with our coalition. So we have education committee, we have a survivor services committee, we have a policy advocacy and research, and we have economic empowerment. And they're led by chair people, and so those folks who join the coalition get an opportunity to choose, what's my wheelhouse, where am I passionate, and these are made up again of for-profit and nonprofit.
I'm going to make sure that people have access to your information on my website. Tamika and Ken, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do in the community. I look forward to hopefully people can see this and reach out and help you one way or another. It's going to be on the Newsmakers page on clicktohouston.com. If you want to reach out, go to that and make sure that we can get you support.
Thank you for having us.
you.
Appreciate you so much.
You're welcome.
Much love.